Hi dear students, I am Shuramu HT. Now I'll discuss problem on unbalanced and degeneracy in transportation problem. Here the given question is solve the following transportation problem. So the 3 rows are given and as well as the 5 columns are given. So the demands are 400, 400, 500, 400, 800 and supply given with 800, 500 and 900. So initially we have to check whether the given problem is balanced or non-balanced. If it is unbalanced, we have to make it balanced. So for that we have to go with the summation of the supply and the summation of the demand. Here the summation of the supply is 2200 and the summation of the demand is 2500. So here the summation of the supply is not equal to the summation of the demand. So there is a shortage of 300 units for the supply to make it balance. So for that we can add the one dummy row to the given matrix with the unit cell cost with the zeros and here in a supply we can add a 300 units. So now the summation of the supply is 2500 and the summation of the demand also 2500. So now the given problem is balanced. After converting unbalanced into a balanced problem, in our next step we need to find out the initial basic feasible solution either by using the Vogel's approximation method or northwest corner rule method. So here I am using the Vogel's approximation method. So here A, B, C, D are the rows and 1 to 5 are the columns and the supply is 800, 500, 900 and 300 and demand is 400, 400, 500, 400 and 800 and we need to find out the penalties. So how to find out the penalties is in each row we need to select the least two values and the difference we have to write. We should not take any negative sign. So here we are ignoring the negative sign. We will take the least two values difference. So 5 minus 3 is 2 and in a second row the least values are 6 and 4. The differences are 2 and in a third row the difference or least values are 4 and 4, the difference is 0 and in a fourth row the least values are 0 0, so the penalty is 0 and similarly in a column wise also we need to select the difference of the least two values. So 4 and 0 4 and here 4 and 0 4 and here 6 and 0 6, here 6 and 0 6 and here 0 and 3, so you will get the 3. So among the penalties we need to select the highest penalty. So here there are 2 6. So here in the column number 3 also there is a 6 and in a column number 4 also 6. So when there is a tie we need to check with the least value in a particular column. So in the third column also the least value is 0 and in a fourth column also the least value is 0. So now we can go with the comparing the supply where you can allocate the maximum allocation. So anyway in a supply also the 300 is the allocation or the maximum allocation. It is common for both the third and as well as the fourth. So then here also there is an tie. So next you can select the where you can allocate the maximum. So the maximum allocation here is 500 and 400. So you can select this particular column. So here 500 is here and here 300. So you can allocate 300 completely. So the remaining is 500 minus 300 is 200. So here the whatever the steps are written, highest penalty is 6, but there are 2 6 for a column number 3 and column number 4 in both the columns. So the least value is 0. Here the supply is 300 for both the third and as well as the fourth column. So need to select the maximum allocation. So after finding the first whatever the penalties, we need to cancel the first penalties and next we need to find out the second penalty. So in the previous step we deleted the D row. So here no need to find out the any penalties for the D row and next once again we need to select the difference of the least two values and we'll get the fresh penalties. So the same steps we need to repeat. So these steps explained in my earlier video, so I am not going to explain here. So here the allocations you will get in the first row for a 3 the 800 allocation and in the second row for the 4 here 400 and for the 6 100 is allocated and in the C row for a 4 400 is allocated and for a 6 200 is allocated and for a 6 300 is allocated and in the fourth row for a 0 the 300 allocated. So the total transportation cost will be is equal to 3 into 800 plus 4 into 400 plus 4 into 400 plus 6 into 200 plus 6 into 300 plus 6 into 100 plus 0 into 300, so you'll get the 9300. So next we have to check whether there is any degeneracy or non-degeneracy. So for that we need to count the number of allocations. So the number of allocations are 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So the number of allocations are 7. So but there is a condition is number of allocation must be equal to m plus n minus 1. So the number of allocations we got is 7, and here m is the number of rows are 4 and the number of columns are 5. So 4 plus 5 minus 1, so 7 is not equal to 8. So the degeneracy is arises. So in the next step we need to resolve the degeneracy. So here we got number of allocations as 7, but we have to make it number of allocations is equal to 8. So to make it number of allocations 8, so we need to allocate the delta, that is the least value to this cell